Max Keeler, Chief Project Officer from the Motley Fool, one of my favorite newsletters. Great to have you on the Agile Leadership Camp videocast.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, Jeff.
Yeah, Max, you agreed to be one of our speakers at camp on May 3rd, and our camp is for aspiring and up-and-coming Agile leaders.
Okay.
You have an opportunity to talk to people who are on their way up, hopefully, and looking for new lessons and guidance. And so we're so happy to have you on board. Can you start by just telling us a little bit about yourself and your company?
Sure. So I'll start with the Motley Fool. We have been around on the internet since basically 1993, if you can believe that, when the internet was just barely a thing. And we were mainly on AOL a million years ago. And we broke out into the internet in about 96. And that's about when I joined the company. And it's funny, we were big. At one point, I think we were something like the number 5 brand in the entire internet. And so it was like Yahoo, then some, some that you may barely remember. Like, I think it was, was it like pets.com,
Webvan, right? Yeah. Yeah.
And some that, Google wasn't around yet. And
right. Yeah. Remember that.
Amazon was just, just fledgling. And so, anyway, it was a great time to, kind of be a part of that. And what we were doing at the Motley Fool was something a little bit different, which was basically showing people how to use the information they could get for free on the internet and from each other to really understand and do well in the stock market, and to be able to do it better in most cases than Wall Street professionals. And so we're there just trying to really make the stock market more accessible to people, and really to kind of sort of show people that it's not as hard as you think, and it is in the long term the best place to put your money. And what we've tried to do is practice what we preach. And so we have a ton of free content to teach people how to invest and tell people about the market. But some of our material is more around showing what we've done, what we've picked, putting our money where our mouth is.
Right.
And most of our services have outperformed the market over some dramatically over the past 20 or so years. So
yeah, I remember going to your guys' site using the Mosaic browser. That's
sure. Oh my God.
When that was the thing, right?
Yeah, I was coding in HTML, and hand piecing it together, and
yeah.
But my role's been in technology for most of my time there. I started out just basically as one of the tech guys, pretty much out of college, doing everything from helping people get their office to work to building a website to configuring databases to everything. So it was real fun to really just try out a lot of the new technology. Since then, I've been more in leadership, and what brought me into Agile was around 2007. I think there was Agile DC was here, and that had a real impact on me. Okay. And we did a fairly large Agile rollout, pretty much wholesale across the company, that I led in 2007. And it was, probably one of the biggest things that I've done here at the Motley Fool. And to this day, a lot of those principles still hold. And so I've been involved a lot in not only the technology, but the processes and the methodologies in terms of what we do and how we do it.
Cool. Well, it sounds like you've had so many experiences and probably more depth of internet experience than just about anybody in the market. You probably have a few hundred stories to tell, but If you had 10 or 15 minutes to tell one of them, what are you going to talk about on May 3rd, do you think?
Well, I'll probably talk about what it took to roll out Agile across the company in an atmosphere that was there's a lot of skepticism and a lot of pushback, and how we dealt with that, and some of the shenanigans that happened during it. We did a lot. We brought in Jeff Sutherland to talk to our executives, and there's a funny story around that. It was probably the first time in my career where I was screaming at someone else at the top of my lungs, and how we worked that out, and
That's fun.
Generally how people, kind of how I started to understand that, the critics are actually your biggest allies in the long run, and that because they care. So I'd love to tell that story, and then a lot of if it lends itself to the story, is just kind of situationally how things have changed for us, and how just the dramatic impacts of changing technology has changed our approach to processes. And in some ways, the pendulum swings, and and maybe that's a good thing, and to realize where you are in the pendulum, and what's the right thing to do in that situation. So it should be, hopefully people find it entertaining, and as can learn something out of it, that few of the lessons that I learned too.
Great. Well, it sounds like it's going to be not only full of information, but entertaining as well. So
yeah, there's some funny stuff.
Cool. Well, it's going to be a great event. We appreciate you being part of it. We'll wrap up our discussion after I turn off the record button here. But looking forward to seeing you on May 3rd in Washington, D.C. at Agile Leadership Camp. It's going to be great to have you.
Great. I'll see you there.
Excellent.